And we're back for the third and final hour of this session of HERETICUS, and what a situation we find ourselves in. Before we get into the meat of it, I would like those of you who have any relevant lore skills regarding the Inquisition, regarding the Inquisition, to make a test for me.
Oh, right. Actually, do I have any relevant lords? Take a look. What would you classify as relevant?
Forbidden Law, Ordo Hereticus.
That would be, I would probably make it a hard test, but yes, you could absolutely roll it. But other than that, just the Inquisition in general, or Chaos, if you have anything.
I have Forbidden Law Heresy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That one works?
Yeah, that works as well.
Right, I'll use that one.
The only ones I've got are Scholastic Law Occult and Forbidden Law Psychers. So I don't think those are particularly relevant.
I'm going to re-roll that one just because, you know.
And I'm back.
There you are, hello.
Welcome back. We've started the third and final hour.
I don't manage.
Yeah, I could see.
Nothing really important has happened yet. No, I've just asked for a few tests regarding some knowledge the characters might have. I think Acheron,
Is it common law?
No, it wouldn't be common law. It would be in the forbidden law area of.
Yeah, but there's some culture. She doesn't know shit.
Well, Acheron, okay, Acheron, try and roll me that Psychers test.
Yeah.
Okay.
One degree of success.
Yeah. Cool. So, what this basically means is that, yeah, okay, cool. What you know of the Lord Inquisitor, Caden, is that, as the Watch Sergeant said, he is a senior member of Ordo Malleus, and I'm not talking just sector-wide, I'm talking the entire galaxy. You also know that he's a bit of a mystery, in that he arrived a century or so ago with a decree that he basically take over power, and this was a decree from Terra itself. And he basically took over power of the Calixis sector in terms of the Inquisition and Ordo Malleus. And this didn't go unchallenged, of course. There were many Inquisitors who tried to both argue both with words and with firearms against his acquisition of power.
Of course.
But he's still sitting there, and none of those Inquisitors are.
No.
He is the big dog.
He is the big dog. You also know that he does not officially align himself with any of the known factions within the Inquisition. He doesn't identify as radical or Puritan. And lastly, you know that no one has ever seen his face. He wears masks wherever he goes. And it is said that he often walks the streets of the Imperium just observing mankind as it toils and lives in the name of the Emperor. So yeah.
Okay, yep, so Bigwig, when challenged, defeated the challengers, likes to wear masks and walk among the people to observe them.
Yes, indeed. That is the gist of it.
And yes, it's all very important. It's also important, certainly, that he was specifically sent by remit of Terra, so that means the High Lords would have decreed it. So
That does mean a lot, obviously.
Yes.
Is this something you share with Francesca and the others? This knowledge.
Yes. Yes, it's important that we're all sort of aware of who we're going to be trying to convince of our sincerity and of our trying to do the right thing.
Yes. What we have to do here is present the evidence as we have it. That is really all we can do. We cannot do much to argue our case in front of a man as high-ranking as him. All we can do is present facts. This is really important. The moment we start arguing with the man, or arguing against anything he says, we're dead.
Of course.
So, whatever he says goes. He will ask us questions, I have no doubt of that. We'll want to know, probably, on what grounds we have disobeyed direct orders. We'll ask for what evidence we have, almost certainly. And that's when we have to present what we know. Lived experiences, and what I found in the records of Inquisitor Valence, way back when, of the previous time. So yeah, I think we are, as I said before, this whole thing, I do not expect to live through this. I would be surprised if that is as it may be. I would rather be wrong and dead than I would be right and having yet condemned that many people.
Yeah.
So you hear a voice over the Vox system, basically announcing that entrance into orbit is imminent and that people prepare for what's the word I'm looking for?
Disembarkation.
Yes, thank you. That's the word. So that's basically what the everyone else on board ship does, is preparing for entrance into orbit. And I take it you do the same.
Yes.
And Watch Sergeant Enoch comes up to you at some point, just before you basically enter the shuttle that'll take you down into that'll take you planet side, and he says to you all, says, "We shall remain here and protect the
artifacts
until such time as the Lord Inquisitor tells us otherwise."
She, at that point, hands them over to him.
You should probably be aware, and the Lord Inquisitor told me this during our communication, that your own Inquisitor has passed. Inquisitor Dex died a year ago.
What?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
I am sure the Lord
I am
Inquisitor,
aggrieved.
certainly, as are we all, of course. And I'm certain that the Lord Lord Inquisitor, blah, 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 has more information for you once you arrive.
Probably yes.
And probably with you.
And with you.
And with that, he walks away, and you enter into the yes, Accolon, the Lord in General, is inquisitive. You enter the shuttle that takes you down to the Trico, or to Hypsibelis, and You're basically taken to the tricorn. Well, you land near it, and it's basically up to you to get there. You're not under escort. You're not under any kind of a guard or anything. You can just pretty much do as you please. You do know you have an appointment with the Lord Inquisitor, but other than that,
I'm going directly there.
I imagine as much. But, and as soon as you basically get in touch with the people who will point you in the right direction, and so on and so forth. And the Lord Inquisitor has his quarters near the top of the tricorn of one of the central tower, and you're basically made to wait in an antechamber for a while. You're giving whatever refreshments you need during this time. Eventually, a set of double doors open, and out walks a robed serf. He walks up to the one of you who's nearest to him. So let's just say that's a Medea. And he nods to Medea and nods to the rest of you and addresses Medea again. The Lord Inquisitor will see you now.
Okay.
And then he turns around and leaves.
Medea has been surprisingly quiet.
Francesca puts a reassuring hand on her shoulder.
What?
Just want to let you know that whatever else happens right now, I'm glad I met you there. You've opened my eyes to something.
Likewise. I just wish Vix didn't die. I really liked her.
You and me both. Seemed like a thoroughly decent woman. And a very
She
strong
sighs
one.
and studs, walking toward the door.
Yeah.
Oh, let's face the music.
Let's face the music indeed. So, you enter into a surprisingly small chamber. There's a large dining table in this chamber, and lining the room is an entire squad of inquisitorial stormtroopers. Sitting at the end of the table, apparently having a pleasant dinner, is a man dressed in probably good quality, but fairly nondescript clothes, and he's wearing a mask, again nondescript, so there's nothing fancy or odd about it. But as you enter the room, he, without looking up at you, he speaks, and it's as if his voice is basically broadcast via speakers. It's that loud, even though, and you hear that clearly, even though he's sitting at the other end of that table where you're standing. And he says, "So, you're the acolytes what Sergeant Enoch told me about, are you not?"
Sir?
Sister Francesca at this point goes down on one knee and bows her. In fact, this man is unspeakably powerful.
Oh, yep.
Yes.
Seems like a good idea.
Yes, and we'll do that, I think.
No need for that.
I think Medea,
Well, when he
we're
says
the
that,
first one in there, didn't actually do it, and then she says yes sir, and the other goes down on her knees. She just goes looking at them with a, what? Oh, should have done that. Look at her face.
when he says no need for that, then at that point Francesca stands up again.
Sure. He motions to the chairs around the table and says, "Would you please sit down?"
Thank you, my lord. She definitely finds a seat and sits down.
Medea
Yes.
does too.
That's just true.
The watch sergeant has informed me that you have taken it upon yourselves to He did not put it in so many words, but disobey your Inquisitor's orders.
Yes, I know that is correct. It should be said at this time that Medea, she says and gestures to Medea and Mechdic and Prudentia, were only informed of my decision to initiate this procedure after I had started it.
It matters not, Sister Francesca. You are a single unit. I'm sure your Inquisitor has informed you of such on multiple occasions. Has she not?
Indeed, she has.
All right. So, my watch sergeant is currently sitting up in that cruiser up in orbit, protecting 2 geometric shapes that you have acquired on the piety of Seth, and that you feel do not belong here in the Tricon.
Yes, my lord.
It is my understanding that you believe that should these sheeps be gathered in one place, specifically Scintilla, it could cause the destruction of this planet.
In one of several ways, my lord.
Right.
There is precedent. And I out of character, Heine, I can't remember what the name of that planet was, where somebody tried to gather these shapes.
I think it was Heed, wasn't it?
Heed, yeah, I think it was.
Planet Heed, and there's a specific noble family that was involved in discovering this. It was the one that Tim and Trina found in.
Yep.
Yes, it was a progenitor of the noble family with someone named Gul'jan involved with it. He was tied to his family had ties to heretical activities, and he fought these artifacts.
Basically, that is what she explains, that the planet Heed was subjected to exterminatus the last time these shapes were attempted gathered in one place. Furthermore, we have consistent and explicit visions experienced by Sanctioned Psychoac along Quillen to back up this procedure. They have gotten increasingly explicit, and the final mission showed the absolute destruction of Scintilla, complete with every living being. Seeing as it is the sector headquarters for all Imperial power, it appeared reckless to bring such items with a history such as they have to the surface of the planet.
So this is all based on the vision of a psyker and the history of a planet not even close to Scintilla in terms of power and divine mandates.
Yes.
Interesting. He says and takes another bite of his meal.
How does he do that when he's wearing a mask?
That's a good question.
The mask might cover the top of his face, but not necessarily his mouth and chin, for example. Possibility.
It does cover his entire face, but he does lift it enough for him to And it's one asks oneself why he didn't just choose a mask that didn't cover his entire face, but there we go.
But one should not ask such questions.
Exactly. I mean, besides, even allowing anyone to see even a portion of your face would allow it to express certain emotions, or they might pick up physical tics from it. So, better to hide the whole thing.
Indeed. All this is quite interesting. I find your lack of faith is not the proper term here, but trust in the power and divine mandate of the Inquisition disturbing. But I have never once in my many years as a Lord Inquisitor, or even as an Inquisitor before that, gone against a cycler's vision. Akalon, tell me about this vision of yours.
It has been several visions, my lord. Often involving these geometric artifacts in various situations, and all of them involving a skeletal figure clad in black armor, often doing injury to my comrades or desecrating imagery of the Emperor. And this most recent vision, the one that started this whole incident, showed the shapes appearing around Scintilla. They should have been impossible to perceive in space, but there they were, and they began to circle the planet at increasing speed, faster and faster, and energy gathered beneath the crust of the planet until it cracked and flew apart, and all life and all signs of imperial power and civilization upon it were wiped out. And all that was left was that same black armored figure.
Do you know why we called an exterminatus on heed?
I do not, my lord. That was not in the records.
We called the exterminatus on heed because of the very event you described. These shapes were tearing the planet apart, and it was feared at the time that such an event would open a gate and a portal into the warp itself, thus unleashing. I dare not even think of the result, if I'm honest. So you have been wise in your decision not to bring your two shapes, or shards, should I say, to Scintilla. It is true that you have, by not doing so, you have disobeyed your Inquisitor's orders. It is also true that Scintilla is not heed. We have some measures of defense that heed didn't have. But the power of the great enemy is vast. And I have lived long enough and seen enough to know that a decision such as the ones you just made might just be a wise one. I will send my kill team back to their watch fortress. There, they will keep the 2 shards safe until their watch ends. You will go with them. You will ensure, along with the kill team, that it reaches the watch fortress. Or you will die. Is that understood?
Absolutely.
Indeed, my lord.
Indeed.
My life for the Emperor.
Indeed. All right, I will make preparations with the watch sergeant. Until then, you are free to do as you wish. You are not confined to the Tricorn as you have been previously. You are under my supervision until you leave the planet.
Very well, my lord.
Like I said, you're free to do as you wish.
Okay. Francesco gets up, because it's pretty clear that the conversation is now over.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And
Goes back to eating.
she goes up, gets up, bows respectfully, even though, you don't just turn your back to a man like that and walk out. So, she shows proper respect again.
Yes.
And then she leaves. Once outside, it looks like she finally remembers how to breathe again.
I've got to say, yes, Ackland pretty much does the same. Bow, take 3 steps backward, facing forward, still bowing, and only then do you actually turn.
Yes, exactly.
And yes, he is shaking all over when outside the door.
Francesca is standing outside with her arms, or her hands rather, folded into each other. Her fingers basically knit into each other in front of herself, and her lips are moving at an almost impossibly rapid rate as she is praying harder than she probably has in her entire life under her breath, because this isn't dodging a bullet. This is dodging a full-on shot from a heavy plasma cannon.
Yes. Could you spare a prayer from me as well?
I am praying for all of us.
I can't find the words. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I know. I'm sorry, I had to say it. But
It would seem your decision was wise.
I never doubted that it was. I did doubt if we could make it sound reasonable.
Joan, I'm very sorry to say this, but I can barely make out what you're saying.
Okay, I'm sorry. She says, I'm sorry that no, she says, I never doubted that it was wise, but I doubted that we could make it clear that it was wise. I doubted whether we would have the skill and the eloquence necessary to explain something this dramatic. And Achelon, you were magnificent.
That was what?
You were magnificent in there.
Thank you. It is comforting. If it weren't for your strength, I do not think I would have found my own.
I don't know what you will do, you three, but what I will do is return to the cruiser immediately, and I will stay in the chapel on board that ship and pray until we are ready to leave. I do not trust those objects at all.
Yes.
And I am not certain that staying on the surface is safe. All things considered, we have just learned that Inquisitor Dex died. Strictly speaking, at this point in time, we do not have an Inquisitor in the Order Hereticus. However, we do have an Inquisitor from, and not just any Inquisitor, but the most powerful Inquisitor probably in this entire segmentum, or at least one of them. He's Ordo Malleus. So we are currently being seconded to work for an Ordos, which normally only sees the service of the Adeptus Astartes of the Space Marines. I think it's safe to say that we are in a great deal of danger. And I know that I would rather be on the ship and be within reach of those things if something should go wrong. That's just me.
You think our enemies might move against us now
Yes.
that their plans have been revealed?
I think so, and I also think they might move to secure the objects.
I agree. I should like to be on the ship as well.
Yes. If we must rearm, I'm sure we will be able to do so on the cruiser.
Indeed.
Medea, what do you think of all this?
She looks thoughtful. And then she shakes her head. Well, she only has one, so she shakes her head, not heads.
Yes.
I promise she hasn't grown a new one.
That's okay. We didn't think
whispering
so. We didn't think she'd mutated further. Don't worry.
Yeah. I'm just making sure because we have someone who has been whispering me a couple of times that did stuff. But she hasn't grown another head.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah. No. That would be awkward.
Yes, it would.
It would. Well, I have 4 children who is relying on my protection. If they will go for me, they will know to go through them. I can't leave them here.
We can't bring them. I'm sorry to say it so bluntly, but there's no time, and I'm afraid I don't think the Inquisition will. They will not consider them a priority in any sense.
They would quite literally consider them a potential source of a potential method of getting to you if you brought them as well. Think about it this way, Medea. If we don't do this, those 4 children, along with every other child on this planet, will die.
Right now, my concern is not every other child on this planet.
Could you not place them in an orphanage?
No one would take them.
I believe you have sufficient power to make them take them.
Yes.
Yeah, but the smallest one is child of a mutant. Me.
That gets a raised eyebrow.
I see. I thought you were quite young to have 4 children birthed by yourself, but one makes more sense.
Let's just say it this way, she doesn't have a father I can give her to.
I'm not going to even try to force you. That would be wrong, obviously. I'm going to let you make your own decision on what you will do there, and if your choice is to return to them, I'm not even going to hold it against you. I'm not.
Would she be allowed?
To return?
Yes, did the Lord Inquisitor not say we will go or we will die?
He did.
Did. You're right.
I didn't say I weren't coming there.
No,
But we were free to go wherever we wanted before
that
that.
is yes, that is.
I'm not completely stupid.
All right.
I don't actually think you're stupid at all, Medea. I really don't think you're stupid.
No.
I think you know more about how to survive under the worst of circumstances than any of the rest of, or all three of us combined. I don't think you're stupid. I think you're rock solid, and you're tough as nails, and you're smart enough to survive in places where no human being should be able to survive.
Mm.
So, there's that.
Would there be another way of getting them off the planet?
There is one other way.
Hmm.
You can get them on board a pilgrim ship. Pilgrims go to. It takes many years to get there. They would be adults before they reached their destination, but they would then reach a shrine planet like Piety of Seth used to be. These are not bad worlds on which to live. Far from it.
Medea makes a face. Yeah, and I know how well that turned out for Piety of Seth.
Yeah, but that is one place. There are millions of worlds in the Imperium, and many of them are shrine worlds.
Mm.
In fact, I have one I could suggest. If we can find passage for them to get there. My parents are minor saints on this planet. It would be possible for them to be there.
How many years are that away?
I would guess 15 or 16. They would be fed, cared for on board this ship until such a time as they arrived.
Even Kisa.
Yes.
I think all of them, yes. In fact, I know all of them, yes. The whole purpose of going to a shrine world is to seek forgiveness for one's sins. That is the whole purpose. So yes, her as well.
Rhaegar's gonna be pissed. He's not gonna become a officer.
Maybe he will there. Get them passage to passes 8, and then that will... Yes.
Alright.
Perhaps
Medea turns and starts walking.
Prue says as she does, perhaps someone should assist her in that.
Prue, could you do that?
Of course.
Thank you. Then, Achelon, you and I will return to the ship immediately. Your visions, should more arrive, and my faith will be needed with the items.
Yes. I agree.
Good.
Alright. Well, Emperor be with us all then.
Emperor be with us all.
Okay, so Achelon and Sister Francesca, you go back up to the cruiser, and meanwhile Medea and Prue, you try to see if you can find the rascals and send them off to a different planet, hoping that your enemy, whatever your enemy is, won't find them.
What was the name of the planet again, John?
Passes 8.
Passes 8.
Yeah, that's important to remember.
I'm just going to type it out.
Sweet.
Bleh.
Cool. Well, I think this is as good a time as any to stop this session, and we can
Agreed.
with Medea and her rascals next time before you guys set off to some watch fortress somewhere in the galaxy, and we embark on the third and final part of this campaign. So,
Yes.
cool.
What a great start we've had.
Jesus Christ on the crutch.
No. Honestly, I genuinely thank you, Jem, for this. This is taking it in a deeply interesting direction, and I know it's obviously been a concern for you, but I think this is fantastic.
I'm glad you think so.
It will work out. Trust me. This is going to be fun.
I've got tunnel vision, for crying out loud.
That's why I'm trying to tell you that I'm enjoying this.
I know.
That's good. Cool. XP wise, let's go with 250 this time. 250.
250.
Yes. And for you, dear audience, whoever's out there watching us, listening to us, we do hope to see you next time as we see where this cruiser takes our poor acolytes.
Heresy. He sees them. He must be a chaos god. Shoot him!
Nice one. Nice one.
I don't think shooting a chaos god will
Down with the
do
god emperor. He's
anything.
chaotic.
I mean,
hell.
you could maybe ask the emperor to manifest his soul in the warp and poke one of them with his holy sword for a bit.
Yeah, you could.
That might
Sounds so wrong.
Take my holy sword. I poke you with it.
I will find.
I think, and then you're going to have Slanesh sitting in a corner going, yes, please.
Anyway, dear audience, as I was trying to say, until we meet you, or until we see you next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye.